Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today. We are tackling a topic that literally every growing business needs to wrap their head around: navigating North Dakota's sales tax permit process. Look, whether you're opening up a cozy little boutique in Fargo or you're running a booming e-commerce site from halfway across the country, understanding state tax compliance, it's absolutely crucial. It's the foundation for your success. So let's just dive right in. $100,000. Just take a second and think about that number. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, well, I don't have a physical storefront in North Dakota, so state sales tax definitely doesn't apply to me, right? Actually, scratch that. That is a super common and honestly a potentially very costly misconception. If you're an out-of-state remote seller and you make just $100,000 in gross annual sales to North Dakota residents, you are legally obligated to register and collect sales tax. That's the million-dollar hook right there, folks. So I got to ask you directly, do you actually need a North Dakota's sales tax permit? I really want you to evaluate your own business standing right now. Are you planning to hire staff in the state anytime soon? Are you traveling there for a trade show? Or, hey, maybe your online sales are just unexpectedly taking off in the Peace Garden state. You know, understanding your legal requirements isn't just about avoiding annoying penalties. It's really about setting your business up for scalable, uninterrupted growth. To help you figure this all out, here's our game plan for today. We're going to cover understanding North Dakota sales tax, pre-application prep, navigating the application, fees and timeframes, post-approval compliance, and finally, troubleshooting and resources. Okay, Section 1, Understanding North Dakota Sales Tax. Before we even think about filling out a single form, we have to answer the fundamental question, right? Why do you need this permit in the first place? Well, it all comes down to one magic word: nexus. Think of nexus like a tether tying your business to a specific state. And it comes in two flavors. Physical nexus means you have a storefront, inventory, or employees in North Dakota. Honestly, even just setting up a temporary booth at a trade show there can trigger it. Economic nexus, on the other hand, is triggered purely by your sales volume, specifically hitting that $100,000 threshold in the state that we just talked about. Triggering either of these means, yep, you must legally register for a sales tax permit. And this brings up a super common point of confusion for a lot of business owners: the difference between sales tax and use tax. So sales tax is what you, the retailer, collect right at the cash register or during the online checkout process. Use tax is its counterpart. It's paid when a taxable item is brought into the state, but, for whatever reason, sales tax wasn't collected by the seller. Getting this permit allows you to lawfully act as an agent for the state. You get to collect the destination-based state tax of 5% plus any local rates, which, by the way, can push the total up to about 8.5% depending on where your customer is actually located.
All right, moving on to Section 2, Pre-Application Preparation.
Preparation is literally everything here. You want to gather your documents at least 30 days before you officially open your doors or hit that economic nexus threshold we talked about. Before you even open your web browser to apply, you're going to need a few things. Gather your legal business name and address, your federal employer identification number, your EIN, your NAICS code, which is basically just a standard code that classifies your specific industry. You'll also need your projected sales, plus the names, addresses, and social security numbers of your owners or corporate officers. Trust me, having all this stuff right at your fingertips makes the actual application process an absolute breeze.
Now, heads up, because there is a very specific kind of quirky rule here for sole proprietors. The North Dakota Tax Commissioner handles sole proprietorships just a little bit differently. If this is your business structure, you have to register using your personal social security number as your primary ID and your personal legal name, rather than a federal EIN or a doing business as trade name. If you try to use an EIN here, your application is going to hit a wall and get rejected. So definitely keep that in mind.
Let's get into Section 3, Navigating the Application Process. Awesome. So we have all our documents locked and loaded. Now we're going to walk through the state's digital registration engine. The whole process is broken down into 3 distinct sequential phases. Phase 1 is submitting your actual application online. Phase 2 requires just a little bit of patience while you wait for the state's approval. And finally, Phase 3 is creating your secure portal login so you can actually manage your account. Let's talk about what this digital journey looks like in practice. When you first hit the portal, affectionately known as NDTAP, or the North Dakota Taxpayer Access Point, this is your main gateway. When you land on the page, you're just looking for the Apply for a Sales and Use Tax Permit option, which launches you right into the Move to Digital application. And hey, this system is entirely cloud-based, which is absolutely fantastic for modern business owners. No software to install, no nonsense.
Once you kick things off, you'll be hit with the main registration screens. This is exactly where you plug in all that data from the checklist we just reviewed. You'll enter your demographic details, physical and mailing addresses, and crucially, your NEICS code and projected sales. Seriously, take your time here. Accurate inputs prevent processing delays and ensure the state assigns you the correct filing frequency right out of the gate.
So after you submitted the application and gotten the green light from the state, you'll jump back over to NDTAP to establish your secure credentials. You basically just click Sign Up for Access to create your unique login ID and password. This step is all about securing your personal digital workspace, because this is where you're eventually going to be filing your returns and making payments.
Now, here's the absolute most critical final step. It's the linking phase. You have your login, and the state has approved your permit, but you have to actually connect the two. The state is going to mail you a physical TAP reference letter, and inside it contains a unique letter ID or authorization code. You just input that specific code to securely bind your shiny new login credentials to your officially approved tax account. And boom, the whole shebang is done. You are fully registered.
Section 4. Fees and timeframes.
Okay, I know exactly what you're thinking right now. This all sounds incredibly formal, so how much is this going to set me back, and how long am I going to be waiting? Well, you are reading that number right. $0. Applying for a North Dakota sales tax permit is completely 100% free. There are no sneaky upfront application fees, and honestly, even better, there are no annual renewal fees. As long as your business structure remains the exact same, your permit stays active indefinitely. Pretty great, right? And when it comes to time frames, the digital era is definitely your best friend. If you use the online NDTAP system, processing typically takes a really brisk 3 to 5 business days. Now sure, the state does have a paper application, Form SFN 5957, but mailing that in pushes your wait time to 10 to 14 days. Do yourself a massive favor. Skip the postage stamp and just file digitally. It's way faster, it's more secure, and it gives you immediate confirmation.
Moving into Section 5, Post-Approval Compliance.
Huge congratulations, you've got the permit. But getting it isn't really the finish line. It's actually the starting line for your ongoing legal relationship with the state of North Dakota. Let's talk about your ongoing duties. If you have a physical location or even just a pop-up booth, you're legally required to visibly display that permit to the public. Next up, you've got to configure your point-of-sale or e-commerce software to charge destination-based rates, meaning it needs to calculate the exact tax based on your customer's zip code. Finally, and this is a really big one, folks, you must file your tax returns on your assigned schedule, whether that's monthly, quarterly, or annually, even if you had 0 sales during that period. Yep, filing a 0 return is absolutely mandatory to keep you compliant and penalty-free.
Section 6, Troubleshooting and Resources.
Look, even with the absolute best preparation, bureaucracy can totally throw us a curveball sometimes. So I want to make sure you have a safety net. If you hit a roadblock, or your application gets delayed, or you just have a super specific question about your own business structure, you don't have to guess. The North Dakota Office of State Tax Commissioner is actually incredibly accessible. You can call their business registration section directly at 701-328-1241, or just shoot them an email at taxregistration@nd.gov. Keep these contacts handy. They are your direct line to resolving any hiccups along the way.
Real quick, before we wrap up, I do need to give you an important heads up. While we've covered the structural steps and the laws derived straight from the state's sources today, every single business is entirely unique. This explainer is a really comprehensive guide, but it definitely does not replace personalized professional counsel. Please always consult with a certified legal or tax professional to ensure you are meeting all your specific liabilities, especially if you're dealing with complex software exemptions or tricky multi-state nexus issues.
And there you have it. You are now fully equipped with the knowledge to conquer the North Dakota sales tax permit process. It really makes you think, doesn't it? As digital sales continue to just completely blur state lines, how much more connected are our local and national economies going to become? What are your own business expansion plans in this constantly changing landscape? Are you setting up a brand new storefront, or are you conquering the state through online sales? Drop your questions, your success stories, and your ongoing challenges in the comments below. I absolutely love reading them. Keep learning, keep growing, and I will catch you in the next explainer.